Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to create a world, to inspire a world where food makes us better. Today, guys, is a pretty interesting episode. At least it was for me. I get to think once more about how weird our food, our eating habits have become. Like, really, we eat so much stuff that was never available or that we could never find in nature previously. And I believe it's a part of the reason why we see so much degenerative diseases, so much obesity, so much metabolic disasters that translate into heart disease, diabetes, and brain disorders. We are seeing so much like weird stuff when it comes to human metabolism and different diseases. And no wonder, because as we will talk more about today, we're just not eating stuff the way nature designed it for our digestion. Today we're talking about the worst combinations of foods and nutrients for our human digestive system and metabolism from all the evidence that we have. Some is based on really amazing studies, some not just on the observational evidence, but it's still obvious. And if you think about the cases, so when you ate some food combinations and how you felt after it when it comes to stuffiness and energy levels and overall sleep quality, performance after that meal and the next day or maybe later the day. So think about, your eating habits and how different food combinations have affected you while listening to the information that I'll be presenting to you. So the worst possible foods and nutrients combinations. First one, high carb, high fat. So high carbohydrate content and high fat content. And by the way, guys, by the worst possible combinations, why I call them the worst, because they tend to negatively affect our blood sugar levels, our insulin levels, causing spikes that damages our arteries. I'm also talking about all sorts of digestive issues, from bloating to gas to inflammation in our digestive tract, and different gut issues like allergic reactions or different sensitivities to different foods. A lot of it, guys, has to do not necessarily with any specific food, but with food combinations where nutrients that are not supposed to be digested together are blended into some food concoction together, and that's what our gut reacts to, not necessarily, again, to any nutrient by itself specifically. Digestive issues, so pro-inflammatory substances that are created as a result of those digestive issues. Then we might have increased cravings and hunger for the wrong things. It might be harder for us to regulate our appetite and our hunger. Bad absorption of some nutrients, or not absorbing some nutrients and at all because they cancel each other, or not having certain nutrients to coming together as it would happen in natural foods to be properly digested, or it will be hard for us to maintain certain weight, to decrease and maintain the amount of fat mass that we have. So a lot of bad things can happen when we consume these combinations, and the more we consume them, the worse we seem to do. So first, again, high carbohydrates, high fat. That actually almost never happens in nature, except for maybe durian, that Thai fruit, if you've ever heard about it. And that's, like, for my taste, it's like the worst fruit ever. I wouldn't even call it a fruit. It's like some weird disaster. But it does have quite high carb and fat content in one food. But that's probably the only food that has that. Oh, the other one is probably milk, that is kind of similar, high fat to high carb. But if you drink a lot of milk, you're probably going to have a lot of inflammation and a lot of fat mass. That food was not really designed for a human being to consume, more like for a cow. Anyhow, all the other foods are not really high fat, high carb ever, except for trail mix. When we mix dried fruits and nuts, high fat, high carb, never happens in nature. Nuts do not grow with dried fruits together ever in one season. Maybe like sometimes you can see a fresh fruit tree close to nut tree, but again, in nature it doesn't happen, and it's a metabolic disaster. Even though it's all natural, when combined together in human digestive system, doesn't work great. So eat fruit, fresh fruit preferably, or nuts separately. Then things like sweet potato, regular potato, and butter. Not a great combination. Might be delicious, I know, but it's one of the worst combinations out there. So sweet potato, high carb, butter, high fat. Or fruit smoothie with a lot of avocado or nuts or coconut oil in it. Same thing. Really bad combination. Even though all the foods are natural and some are superfoods and super healthy, whatever, it's high carb, high fat, metabolic disaster. And then think about it, guys. Most sweets, Turkish delights, pastries, cookies, they are all high carb, high fat. And you probably already know that it's super hard to not overeat them, and you tend to crave them. Ice cream, high fat, high carb, plus high protein. That doesn't make it any better. But all those junk foods, most of them are high carb, high fat, like hamburger, high carb, high fat, French fries, high carb, high fat. Should I continue? Most of those junk foods are high carb and high fat. But even natural foods like nuts and fruit, a disaster. Fruit might ferment in our stomach, nuts might not be digested, and then we might get blood sugar spikes and insulin spikes, like a lot of things. The next one, high protein, often with high fat too, and high carbohydrates. So that might really screw up digestion, because protein needs different digestive enzymes and carbohydrates need different digestive enzymes and environment. One is more alkaline, the other is more acidic. And so when our stomach encounters those combinations of protein and carbohydrates, it just doesn't know what exactly to do, and it takes forever to digest, and stuff starts to ferment, and there are pro-inflammatory substances, some really like glue-like substances are created. So blood sugars and insulin might spike also, and probably will. Anyhow, high protein, high carb. Guys, what's a very popular food that is high protein and very often high carb? Most of the protein bars, they have a lot of sugar and a lot of protein, and they're not healthy or weight loss foods, not at all. Or protein powders with sugar in them. Like there are some that don't have sugar, might have non-caloric natural sweeteners like stevia. Those are fine, but most of the protein powders and protein bars are metabolic disasters, having high protein content and high carb at the same time. And then there are other food combinations like mashed potato and steak or fish, high protein, high carbohydrate, high starch. Or some beans and eggs, so beans and fish, high starchy food with fat and protein. Beans are quite high in starch, guys, so they're complex food to digest by themselves, and when combined with more protein heavy and usually fat heavy foods together, they work really hard for our digestive system to handle, and it's never good or perfect. Or corn and beef, again, starch, carbs, and a lot of protein, usually a lot of fat. Or potatoes and eggs, high fat, high protein, high carb, metabolic disaster, guys. So that's not a good combination. And those are two bad ones, guys, consumed in large amounts by a lot of people. No wonder a lot of people are having so many issues with digestive tract these days, because eating all these awful food combinations and products. Again, high carb, high fat, bad idea. High protein, high carb, bad idea. Then what are some good ideas? There are quite a few actually. And once you start designing your meals according to those good formulations, you'll notice how much better you feel after your meals, how much more energy you have, and how much less trouble you have in your digestive tract, in your stomach, and your health gonna improve too, and your sleep and your energy levels, so many things. Your food sensitivities, your allergies, like a lot of things will improve. So protein plus fiber, low carb. So for example, if you decide to eat fish or meat or shellfish, eggs, the best to combine them with non-starch vegetables like leafy greens, cooked or raw, your salads, your Brussels sprouts, your broccoli, non-sweet fruit like bell peppers and tomatoes. But I'm not sure if bell pepper is a fruit actually. Forget it. But tomatoes, yeah, so non-starchy vegetables with fish, with meat, with organ meats, with shellfish, with eggs are the best ones. Your salad with sardines, with eggs, that's amazing. Tuna salad, awesome. But don't forget not to put any potatoes in it, because that's a starch. So steak and veggies, not potatoes, but things like asparagus or maybe kale or spinach or Brussels sprouts or broccoli. Beans and veggies. Bean salad, amazing thing. So beans and salad, beans and broccoli, beans and Brussels sprouts, beans and spinach, beans and tomatoes, all great combos. Another great combination is fat and a lot of fiber and a lot of vegetables, non-starchy vegetables. So for example, avocado salad, an amazing combination. Or fatty, by the way, guys, you can also put beans and not so much actually beans and avocado because of high fat content. And we talked about how high fat and high carb don't mix. So avocado and salad, non-starchy, non-bean salad, or fish and fatty fish like sardines and your salad, because fatty fish is protein but also a lot of fat in your salad, also mixes well together, plus an avocado if you'd like, maybe even an egg. So all that mixes well together. Of course, maybe you want to put some seeds and nuts into your salad, also works amazing. But don't forget not to put potato there with your high fat stuff. And then high carbohydrate stuff like potatoes or grains, whole grains or beans or maybe tortilla, plus non-starchy vegetables like your salad, your broccoli, your Brussels sprouts. Those are amazing combinations. So again, high carb goes well with veggies. So if you want to eat your sweet potatoes, mix it with salad, preferably either no fat or very low fat. I know it doesn't sound exactly like the combo you'd love to eat, but believe me guys, carbs and fats, high carbs, high fat just don't mix well together. So if you decide to eat your potatoes or your beans or your grains, non-starchy vegetables is the best combo for that. And just experiment and you'll notice how much better at first your digestion gonna be, how much energy you're gonna have after your meals. You're gonna be full but not stuffed, not sleepy, and also overall your health will improve and your sleep also will improve. When it comes to fruit, best, as we talked already, fruit is eaten alone on an empty stomach. 30-40 minutes before your main meal, or longer if you'd like to. And then dairy products. If you eat your yogurts, if you decide to, I don't know, consume milk or any sorts of dairy products, most of them are best consumed alone when it comes to higher lactose concentration. So what I mean by that, so if you eat yogurt, it's best to eat alone and plain. Maybe non-starchy vegetables like salad might be okay. When it comes to things like cheeses, it's high-fat food. It's going to be great in your non-starchy vegetable salad, or maybe broccoli, or maybe Brussels sprouts, but not high-carb foods. So cheese, either alone or with your non-starchy vegetables. But the most important thing, guys, you want to remember that high carbohydrates, high fat content, not a great idea. High protein, high carb, like a protein bar, not a great idea. Protein plus non-starchy vegetables, fat plus non-starchy vegetables, fruit alone. Those are the basics, and once you learn them and once you start practicing them, after a while it's going to become second nature to you, and you'll just notice the difference, a huge difference it makes when you eat well combined meal and poorly combined meal. It's going to be like day and night. If you for a week will practice those well combined food combinations, you will feel so much better. And if then you decide to eat potato and meat, you'll notice how much harder it feels in your stomach, how much longer you're gonna feel stuffed, how much less energy you're gonna have available for work you do, for your life, and overall how worse your sleep quality will be. And if you continue that, you're just gonna feel not good. So if you decide to do this experiment and you need more details, you'd like more details, you have more questions, feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to help you. And from my personal experience, guys, the more I practice this, the better I feel, the better I look, the more energy I have. And if for some reason I decide to forget about this, or I start feeling so good that I forget why I feel so good, and then I eat something like sweet potato and some roasted chicken, and I feel heavy and low in energy, and then I don't sleep well, and then I remember, I forgot my own rule of food combining. So that happens. But then because of the difference of, I know how I feel, how it feels when I feel good, and I know how it feels when I don't feel good. And because I know possible reasons, I adjust. But anyhow, guys, do the experiment and you'll be blown away by the results of food combinations designed for a human digestive system. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Hey, this is the last episode of this week. So maybe over the weekend, do a small experiment. Follow food combining rules. Again, reach out if you need more details, if you need some help, and notice how much better you're going to feel over the weekend. And it's not that difficult, it's not like I'm asking you to starve yourself or be on some crazy diet. It's just combining different foods, maybe not the usual combinations that you're used to. So do this experiment, see how much different, how much better you feel, and then get back to your normal and see how you're gonna feel then. So I think that's a very interesting experiment for this upcoming weekend. Thank you guys for listening, for tuning in. Share this episode with other people, discuss it, learn from each other. That's how you remember and learn better. Do the experiment, reach out if you need any help, if you have any questions. And as usual, guys, till next time, eat better daily.